Arcana?
Was it?
It's Arcana or Arcana? If you could let us know in the comment section.
I thought it was.
It was
I say, yeah, just spell it out
spell it out
to
in the
let us know
comment
how it's
section.
pronounced.
Mm.
That's my favorite bit that we have, I think.
We've got a few of those, a few bits. On the last video we did, I switched our names without realizing it. It's like,
least I
hi, my
wrote it
name's Jake, and it's like Josh on the nameplate. Just like, okay. You know, like we always say,
down.
we're pros, PROSE at this.
Yep. 100%. Hey everybody, I'm Josh from JNJtabletop. Right above me right there is Jake from JNJtabletop. Our name tags are in the right space today, and we're going to talk about the new Unearthed Arcana about Draconic options.
Yeah, and we're actually streaming this on our Twitch channel, so if you haven't checked us out there, go to twitch.tv/JNJtabletop, and maybe you could join in on some of these discussions and offer some insight that you might have as we go through it together. Might be fun. As always, Unearthed Arcana playtest material, you know, a lot of this stuff, probably as far as like the spirit of what's here, will probably show up at some point somewhere down the line, but maybe the mechanics might get tweaked. They've gone back and forth with how good they are. I feel like it landing on something that's going to actually make it. So Draconic, this is all about dragons.
Dragon people.
I mean, Draconic options really for players.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Just more player options, which is, it's kind of interesting. Just a kind of side note, I guess, just about the topic is that we went from Fey options to now Draconic player options. Maybe it's not a big jump, but it feels like two completely different jumps. Like maybe they were going to do one source book and they said, let's do one about dragons.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah, you know what? Dragons. It seems like the theme, though, is like racial or lineage kind of.
Yeah.
Alternate lineage rules. I could see maybe them coming out with a book there. Probably with something else tied to it. I don't think that's strong enough on its own.
I mean, that's a big part of what Tasha's was too.
It's true. Because they just, hey, don't like how the ability scores work? Yeah, just mix and match. Which, if you're a WebDM fan, which we are, Jim Davis is like, you weren't doing that already? I love that line. But yeah, I always thought the Dragonborn race, I remember having a conversation with you, or texting, I don't remember exactly, but I feel like Dragonborn definitely not having dark vision, and that just seems weird because dragons eventually get true sight, if I'm not mistaken, as they age. So dark vision does not sound like it shouldn't be there. So I always felt that was a little weird, but they're very, very powerful as it is. So
Dragonborn are very powerful as it is.
I mean, having a breath weapon is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
And resistance too.
It's definitely a nice thing to have, and it's interesting what they do with both of those things and how they change them in these races. I read through the first two. I know you haven't really.
You are ahead of me, so I'm seeing this for the first time right now, which is that can be fun too.
Yeah, I mean the first, just popping right into it. First thing is you have your ability score increases, which is seems to be more the same of what we've been seeing, where they kind of just let you use them for whatever. So you can increase one ability score by 2 and a different one by 1, or you can increase 3 different scores by 1, which is that's definitely nice. I like it.
Some races have done that. I think the Triton in Theros does that. So why not give that flexibility? I think that's cool.
And Blue Dragon just said something in chat and about a Dragonlance lawsuit, and I really hope that all of these draconic things that we've seen, like we saw one a few months back about a subclass where the Drake Warden, and then there was a dragon themed monk too, I believe.
The name escapes me, but you're right.
So if all of those combine into whether it's like some sort of crazy Draconomicon or some sort of Dragonlance setting or something like that, I'm here for it.
Oh yeah, sign me up.
Yep. Languages I thought was kind of weird. because I have to double check the actual Dragonborn race, but
Hmm.
languages you get are common and one other language that you and your DM agree is appropriate. Correct me
Yeah.
if I'm wrong, but perhaps that one other language that would be appropriate for a Dragonborn is Draconic.
I would say more often than not, yes.
I would, personally, I would say give them common, Draconic, and one other.
Yeah, languages are hardly game breaking.
Yeah,
Always
it
cool
just.
to have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There was a time, a long time ago in it was our campaign B, we'll call it,
Okay.
for Ivlar,
Yep.
where I had a whole bunch of languages and Nooch had a whole bunch of languages and Blake had a couple, and we just started trying to one up each other, and our characters were talking to each other in a different language for
I
like every
remember that
session.
scene.
It's like
Oh my
trying to see.
gosh, I think I was DMing that.
Yeah, you
I
were.
was just laughing. I'm like, okay, just going back and forth. Uh, like I say in Elvish, then I say in Dwarvish. It just kept
I
going.
respond in Orcish.
Yes. Some of the fun memories.
Yeah. Nooch had the linguist feat, so that was
Yeah.
he won, but that was a good time.
Yeah.
All that to say, give them 3 languages. And
Yeah.
personally, if you were playing a Dragonborn character, I'm probably going to give you Draconic because in my mind that makes sense.
Yeah, unless you were like kind of like a Worf from Star Trek as a Klingon raised by humans kind of a thing, maybe he would have if you didn't have contact with your, you know, upbringing, then that might make sense. But
Yeah.
yeah, Draconic certainly would make sense there. Construct dragon, Warforged that was designed to be like a Dragonborn would be kind of cool though.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like it was like a dragon just like melted metal, and
Yeah,
it just that was the forge. Yeah, that'd
have
be
some cool like myth about it. Like that would be really cool. Again, I'm on this Theros kick lately, but just because I think there's one special like gift of the gods or something they have that I again I don't even know if I'd recognize it if you told me, but I think they have something along those lines
yeah.
where that's like your gift.
I know the one you're talking about.
But there's I guess we could dive in here. Chromatic Dragonborn. Dragonborn with chromatic ancestry claim the raw elemental power of the chromatic dragons. The vibrant colors of the chromatics, black, blue, green, red, and white, gleam in their scaled skin and in the deadly energy of their breath weapons. Theirs is the raw elemental fury of the volcano, of biting arctic winds, of raging lightning storms. Theirs also is the subtle whisper of swamp and forest, corrosive and toxic. Interesting. Okay. Good flavor text there. Humanoid, medium, 30 feet. Nothing crazy there. Choose your ancestry as far as your color. Okay, your breath weapon. Take the attack action. Oh, this feels different. You can replace one of your attacks with an exhalation of a magical energy in a 30-foot line that is 5 foot wide. Each creature in the area must make a dex save against DC based on your con. And then a creature takes 2d8 damage of the type associated with your ancestry. A little modified. And it
Yeah.
increases when you get to 5th level, 11th level, and 17th level. So it's kind of like the cantrip scale there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could do it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. I think that's actually a little better than it used to be. But
Yeah,
that's
so
good.
I'll read through the original one.
Yeah.
You can use your action to exhale destructive energy. Your draconic ancestry determines the size, shape, and damage type of the exhalation. When you use your breath weapon, each creature in the area must make a saving throw, the type of which is determined by your ancestry. DC for the saving throw is 8 plus con plus proficiency. Creature takes 2d6 on a failed save and half as much on a successful one. It increases to 3d6 at 6th level, 4d6 at 11th level, 5d6 at 16th level. And after you use it, you can't use it again until you complete a short or long rest. But
And that had some were 15-foot cone and some was a 30-foot line, right? Depending, I think it right
does it
because
change
I
that
think
that
because if you
in the
compare like gold and brass, because brass is also fire, but I think it's the line for brass, but it's a cone, I think, for gold and red.
yes, they have a chart for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so it's a line for black, blue, brass, bronze, copper,
Yeah.
and then there's a cone for gold, green, red, silver, and white.
So this is actually cool because this really leans into like the Dragonborn warrior up at the front line. Like if you have extra attack, because it just says replaces one of the attacks.
Mm-hmm. I like that a lot, and I
That
like that
makes it a
they're doing.
viable, cool thing.
Yeah, and I like that they're doing the same thing that they've been doing for everything since Tasha's. I think, basically letting you use your proficiency as the
Mm.
amount instead of just once and then short rest or long rest. Um, I like that you have some options.
I agree. I would rather have the proficiency bonus and then long rest because it feels like it grows with you instead of just once short rest.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anytime something can grow with your character, I feel like that's just better. Draconic resistance, of course, associated with whichever your breath weapon is like.
And chromatic
This is
warding.
new.
Yes, it is.
Starting at 3rd level, as an action, you can channel your draconic energies to protect yourself. For 10 minutes, you become immune to the damage type associated with your ancestry, and once you use this trait, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. You know what? That's really cool.
It's very cool. I mean,
That
10 minutes is a long, long time
that
in
is
D&D,
long.
but that's pretty cool.
I feel like that should probably be reduced to 1 minute, but that's just my first gut reaction. I'm just thinking about it because fire is a really common damage type.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we got this mission going down to the 9 hells. Yeah, just take a bunch of red dragonborn with you. You'll be fine.
Yeah, right before the boss fight, we'll all do it. You'll be done in 4 rounds.
Yeah,
The combat could last. I mean, combat could last a lot. You know,
sure. 10 minutes. That is high.
what's
But
that?
it
A
is kind
hundred.
of like that one hero moment, though. I mean, well, or I guess 10 minutes worth of hero moments, if you will. But like
So
the
I think
concept.
so. 10 minutes when we look at it in the context of combat, 10 minutes is absolutely insane. But when you're thinking about it as like the hero moment and like what are they using it for outside of combat,
Yeah,
um, that's when I think 10 minutes is fine and it could be really cool. Um, but potentially that could break some
yeah.
combat.
I kind of just imagine like, like if you're say in a city now, and there's a fire, you know, the chromatic dragonborn firemen will go in and save the day. Send them in. They're good. Like, just activate the thing you do, right? That's what you do before you go in.
You get a water elemental and a chromatic
Yes.
red dragonborn.
Oh man, I want to build this city now. Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah.
All right, you want to take metallic?
Sure. Yeah.
Probably gonna see a lot of the same, I would think.
Metallic Dragonborn. Dragonborn with metallic ancestry lay claim to the unflinching tenacity of the metallic dragons, brass, bronze, copper, gold, and silver, whose hues glint in the scales. Theirs is the fire of hearth and forge, the cold of high mountain air, the spark of inspiration, and the scorching touch of acid that cleanses and purifies. Just right off the bat, um, I love the difference in descriptions,
Yeah.
because they're describing the same effects, right? Well, not the same effects. They're describing the same um, damage types, we'll say, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the effects and the description of them is a completely different tone. Like, the whispers of swamp and forest, corrosive and toxic,
Yep.
versus the scorching touch of acid that cleanses and purifies. I love the difference there.
Yeah, it
Um,
leans into the lore of the big boys,
mhm.
and that's a good thing.
Yeah. You're humanoid, medium, 30 feet speed. You
Yep.
have metallic ancestry, which basically lets you choose from any of the metallic types, which I just mentioned before. Brass, bronze, copper, gold, silver. You get a breath weapon, which is slightly different than the other one. So when you take the attack action, you could replace one of your attacks with an exhalation of magical energy in a 15-foot cone. Each creature in the area must make a dexterity saving throw against a DC equal to 8 plus your con modifier plus your proficiency bonus. Creature takes 2d8 damage of the type associated with your ancestry on a failed save and half as much on a successful one. Damage increases by 1d8 when you reach level 5. Another one at 11th level and another one at the 17th level for a maximum of 5d8. You can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. You regain all uses when you finish a long rest.
It's interesting that they made the metallic have the cone and the chromatic get the line.
Yeah. And
That's
then it's
cool.
going to be the metallic. It's going to get more interesting too.
Okay.
So, draconic resistance is, that you already know about that. You have a resistance to whatever damage site.
Ooh, what is this?
Yep. So, metallic breath weapon. Again, at 3rd level, you gain a second breath weapon. When you take the attack action, you can replace one of your attacks with an exhalation of magical gas in a 15-foot cone.
Oh, of course. Okay.
The save DC for this breath is 8 plus con plus proficiency. When you use this ability, choose one. Each creature in the area must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed 20 feet away from you and knocked prone. Each creature in the area must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or become incapacitated until the start of your next turn. Once you use your metallic breath weapon, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Holy cow!
Yeah. Okay. So this is because the metallic dragons, they have 2 breath weapons. So it's not just the one. But actually, you're incapacitated.
Yeah,
Crit.
that's not going to survive playtesting. But 20 feet and knocked prone, there's definitely a possibility of that one surviving. I feel like they'll knock it down to 15 feet just because that's is that what pushing attack is? Is it 15 feet or is it 10 feet?
It's one of those. I was gonna say this feels a lot like battle maneuver-y.
Yeah, which I like a lot. I mean, you might as well choose incapacitated because
prone. Do you want advantage or do you want to just basically paralyze him?
Yep.
Interesting thing there. I feel like just off the top of my head, I would have preferred them to use like, I don't remember which one has which, but like one of them's like a sleep breath weapon. Like if that's, I want to say silver, if that's wrong, whatever. But like you could choose either cold or sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have liked maybe to see it line up with the actual ancestry of the dragon they're associated with.
Yeah,
But,
I could see that.
Which maybe that might be something that ends up in the final product. But yeah, I kind of like this. Actually, do they still not have dark vision?
They still do not have dark vision.
Why would they not do that? I mean, okay, but why would they not do that? Josh, help me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wonder, does the kobold have dark vision?
I would bet almost anything they do.
The kobold does have dark vision.
There it is.
Sorry, spoilers. I know we're not there yet, but
yeah, we're gonna get. But yeah, just like in chat, yeah, there's the Gem Dragonborn. I haven't read this yet, so I'm gonna read it now. We'll do it together. Dragonborn with gem ancestry partake of the heritage of all gem dragons who claim to be the heirs of the ruby dragon, Sardior, the firstborn of all creation made by Bahamut and Tiamat in the first days of the first world. The colors and mysterious powers of the gem dragons, amethyst, crystal, emerald, sapphire, and topaz, gleam in their scaled skin and course through their veins. Theirs are the wonders of the mind, the force of the will, the brilliant light of insight, the resounding echo of discovery, and the desiccation of despair. Wow, okay. I actually am not very familiar with Gem Dragonborn lore or gem dragons,
I
but
know the Emerald Dragon, but that's
I've seen some stuff before, but I just never really dove into it like I could. And yeah, I think you guys are right in chat. We need a Draconomicon bad. But Wizards, if you watch this, maybe we'll tag you in the tweet so that you can watch this thoroughly and take everything we say to heart. But yes, I would love to see some more things on dragons.
yeah.
So the traits, we got humanoid, medium, 30 feet, just like the others. You trace your ancestry to a gem dragon, granting you a special magical affinity.
Whoa.
Choose one type of dragon. Sounds like you're reading ahead. From the gem ancestry table, this determines the damage type for your other traits as shown in the table. So you have Force, Radiant, Psychic, Thunder, and Necrotic. That just sounds cool.
I like those. That's what I would.
Yeah. Breath weapon. When you take the attack action, you can replace one of your attacks with an exhalation of magical energy in a 15-foot cone. Real quick, I've seen a lot of people argue whether or not Dragon's Breath is magical. At least for Dragonborn here, it is saying that it is magical. Thank you for that follow, Chaotician Writer.
Thank you, Chaotic. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. But this seems like pretty much like the other stuff, right? It's in the 15-foot cone, dex save based on your con. The creature takes 2d8 damage of the type associated with your gem ancestry, half as much on a success, and then it scales just like the others at 5th level, 11th, and 17th, just like a cantrip. Let's see here. You can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all uses when you finish a long rest. So you have resistance to the type associated, as just like you normally would. Psionic Mind. I love telepathy things. You can telepathically speak to any creature you can see within 30 feet. You don't need to share a language with the creature, but the creature must be able to understand at least one language. Your communication doesn't give the creature the ability to respond to you telepathically. This is like Echo.
Yeah, except you can't respond, or they can't respond. That's the second time I've seen that. I saw that with, I don't remember what it was, but I saw that with something else recently.
So I could just like, if I was playing this character, I could tell someone something telepathically, but I could not get. Okay, they can't. Interesting.
Yeah.
What is this? Gem Flight? Starting at 3rd level, you can use your bonus action to temporarily summon an array of spectral gems that match your gem ancestry in the shape of wings that last for 1 minute. For the duration, you gain a flying speed equal to your walking speed and can hover. Once you use this trait, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. So this is pretty much like the Angelic Aasimar one, but like bedazzled.
And at 3rd level.
Yeah.
When does the Aasimar get it?
3rd level. It's 3rd.
Okay, they also get it at 3rd level. I really like anything that gives you the ability to fly, and hover. That is the specific. That's what really matters there. And hover.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I like that too.
But this you only get for 1 minute, but you have immunity to damage for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, if you're what's the chromatic one?
Chromatic one is immunity to a damage type for 10 minutes.
Oh, and metallic get the second. Okay, so chromatic wins, if you ask me.
Yeah.
As far as the power gamer is concerned, you go chromatic all day.
Well, it's yeah. It's weird because it's situational though. Like,
well, that's true. That's true.
The flight is going to be useful almost always. You could, like, if you're a ranged combatant, you could go crazy with that flight.
Yep. Okay.
And then the breath weapon,
Always
that's
useful too.
yeah, that's going to be useful in any combat too. Whereas the chromatic, that's going to be really useful in that specific situation. It's not going to be always useful, but
It's
in
like
that one situation, it's going to be the best.
Gollum wishes he was a chromatic dragonborn when he fell into the the Ring of Mordor. Sorry, spoilers for Lord of the Rings. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's fine. I'll just turn on my my heat protection and I'll save the ring.
Oh my god.
Uh,
Well, the ring wouldn't be saved though.
no, it wouldn't.
Gollum would be saved, but the ring would still be destroyed.
And then 10 minutes later, Gollum would die because I don't think he'd find a way out of the thing.
Yeah. He'd just be swimming for 10 minutes.
It's like, this is memories of how this whole thing started.
I'm really interested in the gem one. I don't know. I like that you get Force Radiant, Psychic, Thunder, or Necrotic.
Mm-hmm.
I like that kind of stuff because it's different. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like totally different, but it's not. It's less common, and I like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also, neither of us run Mulehort Gaming, but Jake does a lot of articles for them, and he also streams for them sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
I've done an article for them.
If you're checking out our link tree, yeah, I believe there are a couple of links there to our articles. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But I think you're right, Josh. I think it is nice to have the unique thing, and any creative player is going to really love flight.
Kobold. Some of the smallest draconic creatures to walk the plains, kobolds display their draconic ancestry in the glint of their scales and their roars. Legends tell of the first kobolds emerging from the Underdark near the lairs of the earliest dragons. In some lands, kobolds would serve dramatic. Now there's a dragon type. Chromatic or metallic dragons.
We have to homebrew that, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Definitely
they
flavoring the bard.
They deal passive aggressive psychic damage.
Oh my gosh. Oh, they can cast Dissonant Whispers.
Yep.
Or Suggestion, but that has to be flavored as mean, like a mean girl.
Okay, so where was I? Dramatic dragons, right? Chromatic or metallic dragons, even worshipping them as divine beings. Kobolds know too well how dangerous those dragons can be and help others defend against draconic destruction. Where is that? What kobolds do that? Whatever their relationship to dragons, kobold scales tend to be rust-colored, although the occasional kobold sports scale color more akin to that of a chromatic or metallic dragon. The roar of a kobold can express a range of emotion: anger, resolve, elation, fear, and more. Regardless of the emotion the kobold expresses, the roar resonates with draconic power. That's like a power, remember?
Yes, from our Warlock video. That was one of our first ones. I thought that was so much fun.
Kobold traits. So they are humanoid, small, 30 feet. It's nice to be small and still have 30 feet. They have dark vision. They have dark vision.
How hard is that? Come on, man.
Draconic legacy. The kobold connection to dragons can manifest in unpredictable ways in an individual kobold. Choose one of the following legacy options when you select the race. You have advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the frightened condition on yourself. You know one cantrip of your choice from the sorcerer spell list. Intelligence, wisdom, or charisma is your casting modifier.
Mm-hmm.
You can make unarmed strikes with your tail. When you hit with it, the strike deals 1d6 plus your strength modifier bludgeoning damage instead of bludgeoning damage for normal unarmed strikes. That's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Draconic Roar as a bonus action. Yeah, as a bonus action, you let out a Draconic Roar at your enemies within 10 feet of you. Till the end of your next turn, you and your allies have advantage on attack rolls against any of those enemies who could hear the roar. You could use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. That's kind of
Okay.
nice.
So a little bit of
That's
Hobbit there with the, or excuse me, we don't say that word here. We say halfling.
Thank you.
We say halflings with the advantage against the fear
Trying to get
stuff.
Wizards in the Coast suit again.
Man. Let's see. A cantrip that's like the high elf. That's fine. The unarmed strikes. That's kind of nice. I mean,
Yeah. And it is one of those three. Probably the cantrip is I'd say the weaker of the three, I think.
yet it'd probably be the one I would choose almost every time.
Is it really?
Just I give me mage hand.
It's just there's just so many other ways to get cantrips that it's like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one. Like if that's what you want to do, use a feat, and then you'll be able to get a couple of them.
But what if I don't want to do that? What if I want to use my feet to get something else, like lucky?
I know. Yeah. I don't know.
Just multiple paths there.
That's true.
And I think actually multiple paths to the same goal is usually a very good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Draconic Roar. That's my favorite part about the whole class.
That's pretty good.
It's really good. and there's no save or anything like that. Like that's something that if they end up doing something with this, it's probably gonna change to like, they have to make a wisdom saving throw. And
I'm just thinking about this because this feels worded a little clunky, right? So you let out a Draconic Roar, your enemies within 10 feet of you. Till the end of your next turn, you and your allies have advantage on attack rolls against any. Oh, so the enemies have to be within 10 feet, but anybody that could hear you gets the advantage, but only on the enemies in the 10-foot zone.
No.
Is that not right?
Until the end of your next turn, you and your allies have advantage on attack rolls against any of the enemies who could hear the roar. So
any of those enemies.
Yeah.
So the enemies have to be within 10 feet of you.
10 feet plus can hear the roar. So if they're like holding their hands over their ears and they're within 10 feet of you,
it's like, you can't get me. You can't get me.
Or if they're 15 feet of you and they could hear the roar, but they're right outside of reach, then it won't work. But I thought you said that your fellow players, party members, had to hear the roar, which
that is, I think, what I said, but that is incorrect. So yes, this would be like the way to launch just a cadre of rogues. Attack! Like we're running there. You just have at it, man. You're good.
Yeah,
kind of cool, actually.
that'd be awesome. And it's like, it's kind of cool that they do that with the Kobold, because the Kobold is such a little like tiny guy, and they're like, yeah, it's a little tiny, but
yeah,
just wait for the roar.
Tiny but tough.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, so a feat represents a character achieving mastery in one of the capabilities of discovering the ability to do something completely new. When this mastery arises from a draconic source, whether it's the gift of a true dragon, the manifestation of some draconic heritage, the blessing of a draconic god, or as a consequence of slaying a true dragon, it can have dramatic or chromatic supernatural effects. Let's see. Gift of the Chromatic Dragon. You've manifested some of the power of chromatic dragons, granting you the following benefits. So this actually isn't limited then to a dragonborn character. This is just however you want to explain they get it. They can take this.
I like it as a reward for slaying a true dragon. Like that's
grab this dragon soul. Like
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's kind of what it is.
Your soul is mine. Okay, so some of the power granting you the following benefits. As a bonus action, you can touch a simple or martial weapon and infuse it with one of the following damage types. Stop it. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison. For the next minute, the weapon deals an extra d4 damage of that type. Okay. After you use this ability, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. That's never bad. When you take acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison damage, you can use your reaction to give yourself resistance to that instance of damage, and you can use this reaction a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Okay, so this is almost like you get both of those. So you get one for a damage buff, and then your proficiency bonus worth of for all intents and purposes, absorb elements.
Sold.
That's a cool one.
That's like, hey, you know that one cool feature that Mercer's what the heck did he call it? Witch Hunter? Is that what it is? Blood Hunter class has. You know that one cool thing that he gave them? What if you could just
It's
get that with a feat? You're like, okay.
the blood right. Yeah, the
Yeah.
thing that they do. Yeah.
I guess that's the one cool thing that one of the subclasses has. But
I'm trying to remember because I'm not very familiar with it. I haven't looked at it in a while.
you like took a point of damage and then were able to
Oh
do
yes,
extra damage with your weapon.
that's right. Molly Mock
It was
would do
cool.
that. Yeah.
Um,
Okay. That's a really nice feat.
it is probably gonna get nerfed, but
I don't
I
know.
like it. Yeah, you don't think so?
Well, I mean, a D4 of damage is hardly game breaking, especially if
Oh,
it's just for one
yeah.
combat,
hmm
more or less, right? It's for a minute.
Yeah, it's just a minute.
And then absorb elements. I feel like if I was a DM and a player wanted to take this feat, I would just be like, tell me beforehand because we're gonna make this story driven and really cool for you when it happens.
hmm
Like something like that would be the way I would want to go about that.
Yeah,
Or as like a bonus feat that you give a party for something. I don't know.
I'd definitely let my players use this feat. Um,
Oh yeah, me too.
it's just one of those that you see it and you're like, I can't see them approving it, but
Mm.
who knows? I said they should go through with all of the ones from the feats thing, and they changed a couple of them. So,
Yeah, I mean they might tweak.
but,
Who knows? All right, we got
but
metallic dragon here, huh?
gift of the metallic dragon. You've manifested some of the powers of metallic dragons, granting you the following benefits. You learn the Cure Wounds spell. You can cast this spell without expending a spell slot. And once you cast the spell this way, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest. You can also use it using any other spell slots you have. The
That's
casting,
nice.
yeah, ability modifier is intelligence, wisdom, or charisma when you cast it with this feat. You have to choose that once you gain the feat. I like
Okay.
that.
Mm-hmm.
You also can manifest protective wings that can shield you or others
Like
from
Falcon.
attacks. Uh, when you or another creature you can see within 5 feet of you is hit by an attack roll, you can use your reaction to manifest spectral wings from your back for a moment. Roll a d4 and grant a bonus to the target's AC equal to the number rolled against that attack, potentially causing it to miss. You
Huh,
can use this reaction a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
that's pretty cool too.
That is pretty cool.
It's almost like the shield spell, a little weaker because
A
shield is
little
just
weaker, yeah.
guaranteed +5.
hmm
But
That's nice, though. What's up, Skelly?
hey, Skelly. Yeah, I mean, if you have how much does it suck when you're like, I have a 16 AC and like this is 16 hit? You're like, it doesn't now because I'm using this feature.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be really nice for all those moments when something just hits.
And it's
Or
coupled
like,
with getting a use of cure wounds.
yeah, absolutely. Especially like if you're a caster, you just get that added to your list then. That's
Yes, you want
that's
to
kind
be a
of huge.
wizard or a sorcerer that's not a divine soul and you want to be able to heal, or even if you want to be like the emergency combat medic rogue, you know.
Break glass in case of potential TPK.
Well, that's what in our ancient relics and hokey religions, that's the spell storing ring. That's the way
Yeah.
they're using it.
Yep. 100%.
Gift of the Gem Dragon. You've manifested some of the power of gem dragons, granting you the following benefits. Increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma score by 1 to a maximum of 20. And then when you take damage from a creature that is within 10 feet of you, you can use your reaction to emanate telekinetic energy. You had me at telekinetic energy. The creature that dealt damage to you must succeed on a strength saving throw, with the ability modifier that you chose to increase, with this feat, or take 2d8 force damage and be pushed 10 feet away from you. You can use this reaction a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and then and it recharges on a long rest. So
Sold.
someone deals damage to you. Okay. I'm actually a little less sold on this compared to the other two.
Okay.
You do get the ability score increase, which, I mean, that's always nice.
It always tempts me. If it
It
has an
is.
ability score
Oh
increase,
yeah,
I'm
because
like,
you make a
oh,
sorcerer that has a
I
17 charisma, and you're like, well, I want to increase it, but I also want something else fun to play with too. Yeah. The only thing I'm thinking about here is that more often than not, this is going to be on a caster of some kind. It might be a paladin or something like that too, but they have to fail the save in order for any of the good stuff to happen,
Mhm.
where the other stuff just happens.
That's true.
That's
There's
the
no
that's the only thing that makes me kind of go a little meh.
there's nothing about half as much damage dealt on a
Mm-hmm.
failed save.
But
Um,
you get the ability score increase, which the
you
others don't
do.
have. So
If it did like half as much on a failed save, I think I'd like this a lot more. I do still like it though. I mean,
yeah,
that's kind of nice. I love that kind of stuff where I'm just a sucker for abilities that it's like, oh, you want to hit me? All right,
yeah,
try it. Come on, hit me,
yeah.
hit me.
Ah! Yes, absolutely. I remember one of my favorite things. I think I don't remember exactly the circumstances of it. You were DMing something. It was a little one shot, I think, and had a warlock that had hellish rebuke.
Mm,
I think he was a half elf, but I did the like Eladrin variant, so I had Misty Step because
of course.
Misty Step. So I ran right up to the ogre and I was taunting him. And I remember the look on your face. You're like, you're, oh, okay, yeah, he's gonna attack you. But I was at full health and he bopped me good. But I hellish rebuked him. Misty stepped away and then was like shooting him with like Eldritch Blast, and I did a lot of damage to him, including dealing damage to him on his turn, which is that. That's action
Yeah,
economy winning right
yeah.
there.
Hmm.
And you're at the end of it, you're like, oh wow, that was actually really smart or something like that. But like sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I was like, yeah, hit me because I'm gonna get you. But even Hellish Rebuke deals damage on a successful save.
Yeah, or on a failed save, you mean?
So, well, always on a failed save.
Yeah, yes, on a successful save is what I meant to say. I
You
think I've
mean
been
when you
saying the reverse
succeed?
this whole time.
Well, because you could think of it as I succeeded, but I needed him to fail.
Yep.
It's like, how does that? There's some new
There's also a bunch
spells.
of spells added. A good amount too.
Icing
Um,
Death's Frost? Wow, that sounds really. That's got
what
to be a
is this?
person. Yeah, there's a bunch here. There's like 6 or 7 of them. It looks like.
Nice. All right, let's. Ooh, I see a ranger spell.
If you're new to this channel, Josh loves him some Rangers, both in hockey
Um,
and in D&D.
that's yeah, that's
Actually,
accurate. um, so we have a 7th level transmutation. It is Draconic Transformation. Bonus action on
always nice.
self, and so it's a concentration spell, lasts up to 1 minute. With a roar, you draw on the magic of dragons to transform yourself, taking on various draconic features. You gain the following benefits until it ends. You have blind sight with a range of 30 feet. Within that range, you can effectively see anything that isn't behind total cover, even if you're blinded or in darkness. Moreover, you can see an invisible creature unless the creature successfully hides from you. Incorporeal wings sprout from your back, giving you a flying speed of 40 feet. Notice that it didn't say you could hover.
Hmm.
Um, when you cast this, and as a bonus action, when you cast a spell, and as a bonus action on subsequent turns for the duration, you can exhale a breath of shimmering energy in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in the area must make a dex save, taking 3d8 force damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one.
Okay.
That's kind of nice.
That's nice because you're weaponizing that bonus action for an entire minute.
Hmm.
It's like, I mean, this is a 7th level spell, so it's going to have to bring some
Yeah,
pain.
yeah. It's not like each of the individual things it does, I don't think are significant for a 7th level, but the combination of all of them, I think is kind of nice.
And it's like, like if someone casts Flaming Sphere, your damage over time can add up in the right situation. So that's interesting. I would like to see that in action and just kind of feel it. If you're in this massive battle though, you're just gonna be flying around all over the place, taking minions out left and right. Because 30-foot cones, that's a big area.
Yeah.
So that is pretty cool, actually. That I'm letting it marinate for a minute. All right, we've got Fizzban's Platinum Shield, a 6th level abjuration spell. It's an action, 60-foot range, and its concentration up to 1 minute. You create a field of silvery light that surrounds a creature of your choice within range, and you can choose yourself. The field sheds dim light out to 5 feet, and as a bonus action on subsequent turns, you can move the field to another creature within 60 feet of the field. The creature protected by this field gains the following benefits. Creature has half cover. That's not bad. Creature has resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, and poison damage.
That's not bad.
No. If the creature is subjected to an effect that allows it to make a dex save or to take half damage, it instead takes no damage if it succeeds on the saving throw and only half damage if it fails. Okay.
Right.
So this is like this movable protective zone that you can just move around. It's almost
That's
like if you're
nice.
if you're going up against a dragon or some kind of elemental based creature.
Yeah, that could be huge, especially going up against a dragon, because those dex saves that, yeah,
a lot of times it's dex. I mean, especially fire. But even that, no matter what, you're getting half cover bonus, which is going to be +2 to your AC. Interesting. I keep feeling like I want to like this more than I do, though. For a 6th level spell slot.
It's 6th level. That's very high. Yeah, I think it's cool. My thing is I don't play a lot of casters, so I can't even think of a bunch of 6th level spells to compare it to. So just hearing that, I'm like, yeah, I like it.
Sorcerer and wizard spell that it says up here. So I feel like Disintegrate is a 6th level spell, and I think I would choose shoot it with Disintegrate instead. But
that's the thing. That's kind of one of the problems. Just the inherent problems with D&D combat is most of the time the best defense is completely ignoring defense and just using offense.
Sure.
And that's just kind of really the way the game is designed. Like if you have the opportunity to use Disintegrate or to give like the entire party some sort of shield, most of the time you're probably better off doing Disintegrate, because
if you eliminate the weapon, it also can't damage you.
Exactly. You're just taking damage out of the equation, taking actions out of the action economy.
But the nice thing about this is I think it says it's a concentration. So this can last up to 1 minute. So that's the other thing, like the other spell that we had just read, that sometimes those effects over time, mathematically, if you just reduce combat to just a pool of points, hit points, more or less, damage is taking away and healing or preventing is just as equal, if you will. Maybe not necessarily effectively, but over time, you might still have some really good uses for that spell.
I also love the component for that too. It's a platinum plated dragon scale worth at least 500 gold pieces. And sometimes it's nice. This is really doesn't have anything to do with the UA. It's more like kind of world building. Looking at components like this and just seeing like a platinum plated dragon scale. What does that tell you about the world, right? That like, obviously, the thing that always comes to mind with like dragon scales, right, is like, oh, I'm going to harvest them and then maybe try to use them for like some sick armor or like something like that. And like, that's usually what comes to mind. But it's like, no, like you could literally plate it, like dip it in platinum and have a platinum
It's like,
plated
yeah,
dragon scale, and that's a
I
sign
have,
of wealth because it's worth 500 golds.
yeah. My wedding ring is white gold, which isn't a thing, so it's like that's the way it goes.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could have a wedding ring made out of a dragon scale dipped in platinum.
That would be really kind of cool to have a couple of casters that get married, and that's like the band they use, because it doesn't say it consumes it. It's
It's
just you just need to use it to focus.
the claws of dire Ahamkara.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway,
Reference.
this next one is a ranger spell. There's a couple of people that could use it, but I mean,
Ooh.
we know who matters here. That's bonus action, cast on self, concentration up to a minute. That's one thing I don't like about ranger spells is 90% of them are concentration. The billowing flames of a dragon cover your feet, granting you explosive speed. For the duration, your speed increases by 20 feet, and moving doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. When you move within 5 feet of a creature or object that isn't being worn or carried, it takes 1d6 fire damage from your trail of heat. A creature or object can take this damage only once during a turn. And when you cast this spell using a spell slot of 4th level or higher, increase your speed by 5 feet for each additional slot above 3rd. Additionally, the spell deals an additional 1d6 fire damage for each slot above 3rd.
Interesting.
Kind of cool.
Certainly hardly game breaking, but I could just imagine if you could disengage or something. Well, you wouldn't need to disengage because
Wouldn't
you
need
don't.
to.
No, but like you dash, and you just like run through a line of enemies just to, like, you're just trying to go nuts with it. Like just go back, like run through this line, then the next round go with that line.
I think of if you have a hunter ranger, I want to say it's your 11th level ability, and I'm going to pull this up and bear with me for a moment. But you get a multi attack, and your multi attack,
Yeah.
if you're doing the road less traveled, which
is that where you can make your attack like a cone?
whirlwind attack.
Okay.
Use your attack to make a melee attack against any number of creatures within 5 feet of you. All right, so it's within 5 feet of you, so that's actually a little different. But I was thinking like you're just walking and going like boom, 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 and then they're also taking a d6 fire because you're running past them.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
This is one of those things where, it feels like the kind of spell where in the right situation, this would be like, oh my gosh, do you remember that moment when we had to run out of here? And so you just basically turned on your flame boots and you just ran through a bunch of enemies and lit the house on fire and just was like, get out, gotta go.
I like that.
Hardly game breaking. I think that could be a lot of fun though in the right situation and in the right character concept.
Agreed.
All right. Icing Death's Frost. 2nd level evocation spell. Casting time action, and then it's a 15-foot cone from yourself, so in that way, think like Burning Hands. Let's see, a vial of melt water is your components. A burst of icy cold energy emanates from you in a 30-foot cone. I'm confused at the range self. Okay, whatever. Each creature in that area must make a con save. On a failed save, you take 3d8 cold damage and is covered in ice for 1 minute, or until a creature uses its action to break the ice off itself or another creature. A creature covered in ice has its speed reduced to 0. On a successful save, a creature takes half as much damage with no additional effects. And then it scales with an extra d8 for each slot above 2.
Nice. That's kind of cool.
That's really kind of cool.
Also, I want to know, please let us know in chat if you know, or let us know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. Who is Icing Death?
It sounds like someone who ate too much cake.
Icing Death? Sounds like the worst supervillain in some sort of kids cartoon.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes, have that nasally voice. Absolutely. Icing death.
You're going to have a toothache now. Ah. Like,
It's like the villain or the cartoon you'd see at a dentist office trying to get their kids
yeah, right.
to brush their teeth and floss.
I want to back up the flame stride at some point, but what if you want to say about icing death? Go for it. I just need to mention something about flame stride.
I think I'm good about icing death.
Okay, flame stride, guys. I figured it out. 11th level ranger. Take the Horizon Walker path. Distant Strike. At 11th level, you gain the ability to pass between the planes in the blink of an eye. When you take the attack action, you can teleport up to 10 feet before each attack to an unoccupied space you could see. If you attack at least 2 different creatures with the action, you can make 1 additional attack with it against a third creature. Use that. Blap, blap, blap. You get to attack 3 creatures, plus you get to
Light the world on fire.
yes, well, you get to light all 3 of them on fire, right? Or do a d6 of fire damage on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it's concentration, so you wouldn't be able to have your hunter's mark. So,
But this kind of
crap. This is just hunter's mark, isn't it?
Well, but you could just run around and apply it to as many enemies on the battlefield as you want because you're not provoking attacks of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you take your wood elf, you get that extra speed. You know, anything you can to get extra speed. If you're playing in like a game with a centaur, you know, that could be cool.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of fun.
I can't believe I didn't realize that Icing Death is the dragon, the white dragon from the first Driz book, because
there it is.
I knew that. And when I heard Icing Death, I was like, that sounds familiar. I think I know that. And I said, nah.
Captain Sweet Tooth is the arch villain of Icing Death. Anyways, got Nathir's Mischief coming up here.
Nathir's Mischief, a 2nd level illusion. It's 1 action, 60 feet. It requires a piece of crust from an apple.
Pie, yeah, let's go.
Apple pie, yes. And it's a concentration up to a minute. You fill a 20-foot cube centered on a point you choose within range with Fey and Draconic magic. Roll on the Mischievous Surge table, or Mischievous Surge table, depending on how you're feeling, to determine the magical effect produced. At the start of each of your turns, you can move the cube up to 10 feet and re-roll on the table. All right, so it's a D4 table. The first effect we have is the smell of apple pie fills the air, and each creature in the cube must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become charmed by you until the start of your next turn.
They can't attack you if that's the case.
Pretty nice.
It is.
Number 2, bouquets of flowers appear all around, and each creature in the cube must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or be blinded until the start of your next turn as the flowers spray water in their faces. Okay.
So great. Like the clown that's got the little flower on his chest. It just shoots him.
Yep. I mean, right. That's amazing. I hope the next one is like a handshake that zaps them.
There's gotta be.
All right, number 3, each creature in the cube must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or begin giggling until the start of your next turn. A giggling creature is incapacitated and uses all of its movement to move in a random direction. Number 4, drops of molasses appear and hover in the cube, turning it into difficult terrain until the start of your next turn. Oh man.
Yeah, this spell is for anyone that just loves randomness.
Yeah, you just have to roll on that and hope you don't get a 4.
Yeah.
It's like I could incapacitate them, I could blind them, I could charm them, or I could give them 10 feet of difficult terrain, 20 feet of difficult terrain.
Which could still be useful.
It could still definitely be useful.
But the other 3 are definitely cooler.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, pronounce that name.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's just Raulotham. Ralotham Psychic Lance. It's a 4th level enchantment spell. It's an action, 120-foot range. That's nice. And just verbal. That's always fun. You unleash a shimmering lance of psychic power from your forehead at a creature that you can see within range. Alternatively, you can utter the creature's name. If the named target is within range, it gains no benefit from cover or invisibility as the lance homes in on it. If the named target isn't within range, the lance dissipates and the spell slot is not expended. The target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw or take 10d6 psychic damage and be incapacitated until the start of your next turn. That is how you burn an enemy. If you have a single big bad,
Burn an 8.
mm-hmm. But actually, this doesn't have anything on a failure, unless that's my misread.
That can't be right. I think
That is save or suck. It doesn't say half damage on a successful saving throw.
Yikes.
So I bet you. Hold on, let's see. Raltham's Psychic Lance. Wizard. This is for your divination wizard, who knows that this spell is going to work because they pre-rolled a 4 that they're gonna. This is your saving throw roll. 10d6 psychic damage, and he's incapacitated. Let's go to work.
Yeah, you're not wrong. All right, what do we have? Summon Draconic Spirit. 1 action, 60 feet. Verbal, somatic, and material. Requires an art object from a dragon's hoard worth at least 500 gold pieces. Concentration up to an hour. You call forth a draconic spirit. It manifests in an unoccupied space that you could see within range. This corporeal form uses the draconic spirit stat block. When you cast this, choose a family of dragon, chromatic, gem, or metallic. Creature resembles a dragon of the chosen family, which determines certain traits in its stat block. Creature disappears when it drops to 0 hit points or when the spell ends. The creature is an ally to you and your companions. In combat, creature shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It obeys your verbal commands, no action required by you. Oh, hey. Oh, yeah. I wonder what else could have used that. Maybe the Beastmaster Ranger.
It's true. Yeah.
If you don't issue any, it takes the dodge action and uses its move to avoid danger. When you cast this using a spell slot of 6th level or higher, use the higher level stat block, where I guess it gives you a different stat block for each.
The armor class here starts with a 14 plus the level of the spell slot. So I guess the minimum it would be is a 5. So
okay,
right?
50
it's a 5th
hit
level
points.
spell. Yeah.
Yep, and 50 hit points plus 10 for each spell level above 5th.
Okay. Got its its stats here. Damage resistances.
Okay.
Oh, all right. So this actually, you're not choosing one of those damage types. If you're chromatic or metallic, you get all 5 of those. And if you choose the gem one, you get the 5 of those.
That's pretty nice for 5th level.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying this feels like this might be really fun.
Yeah.
Immune to charmed, frightened, or poisoned.
Shared resistance. When you summon the dragon, choose one of its damage resistances. You have resistance to the chosen damage type till the spell ends. Multi-attack uses a breath weapon and fighting claws attack equal to half the spell's level rounded down. That's nice.
And it takes a number of bite and claw attacks equal to half the levels. So if you're using a 5th level spell slot, it can take 2 bite and claw attacks.
And 1 breath weapon.
And breath weapon. If you use a 6th level slot, you could take 3.
And 1
bite
breath
and claw
weapon.
and 1 breath weapon.
That's kind of nice.
So this actually it doesn't deal a ton of damage. This thing, but
it doesn't.
It's a meat shield. It gives you resistance to something that you need.
Mm-hmm.
But it also is going to have, it's 30-foot cone still, so it's going to AoE some stuff.
Yeah,
Two.
and it's gonna AOE some stuff, and it's not significant damage, but what's the attack roll? No, it says your spell attack modifier to hit. All
It
right, so
does. Okay.
figure by the time you have 5th level, it's probably gonna be up there, I'd say. So
Sure.
you're gonna have a strong chance of hitting. You're gonna be making at least 3 attacks with that, um, plus whatever you do on your turn. That's
Yes, because you could just say go attack stuff, and it's just
mhm.
extra.
Yeah, and that's just consistent extra,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice.
And it can grab aggro,
Yeah, I like it.
and it lasts for an hour.
That's pretty cool.
And heal the thing you wanted. Yeah, that's cool. That feels like a 5th level spell to me.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite that's been mentioned here, and I think there were a lot of good options in this.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite section would probably be the feats. I would say
Oh yeah.
I like the feats a lot.
I
Um,
really like the direction that Feats seem to be going. I feel like they're because all the like power gamey quote unquote meta ways to play the game with like great weapon master, pole arm master, sharpshooter, those kinds of feats are gonna still probably be the ones that people are taking first. But on top of just wanting to build your character with a dragon theme, this would be a really cool way to gift your players with something as a bonus if you wanted, or like even if it was just like a temporary boon, like for the next day you have the gift of the metallic dragon or something like that, or whatever it might be. So
yeah,
Lily's
he's,
gonna want to use the summon dragon spirit spell when her druid is strong enough. Yep. Who doesn't want a dragon as a pet?
yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool.
I still have to play a Drake Warden.
There's so many different rangers I have to play now. So many options.
Mm-hmm.
So little time. I mean, plenty of time, but also no time at all. So,
It's the way it goes sometimes.
uh,
What were some of your favorites? I know John is here in chat. I know we had a couple other people show up if you're still there, and let us know in the comment section. We'd love to hear what your thoughts on this. Does anything stand out as broken or just not really competing with the options that might exist already?
yeah, definitely let us know. Leave that in the comments, and feel free to subscribe for more fun stuff because we do this every week.
Mm-hmm. And you know the dad jokes. So many dad jokes. That's what meta is. I get it now.